love having a dinghy that weighs 65 pounds and our outboard weighs under 30. It's a phenomenal combination. It's so easy to get on and off the boat. We used to before use the halyards to lift it and stuff like that. Fine, but much easier just to manhandle this thing.
Welcome to MJ Sailing. We're Matt and Jessica, a couple that left Michigan for the nomadic lifestyle 7 years ago. Recently, we refitted an aluminum boat to sail to the Arctic and explore some of the more remote areas of the planet. Thanks for joining the adventure.
Exactly what I was thinking too.
I'm excited to get to Oban. I'm excited to see a few new things, but I like this place. This
place is one of the best anchorages we've been to in an extremely long time. Not only is it well protected, but there's also enough space too where you don't feel like you're constantly going to swing into anything. It's not that tight. It's just beautiful surroundings, of course, with the manor and the colors and the hills and everything.
If the winds don't work out for us to keep moving along the coast, we could just come right back here.
Yeah, very thankful that a few people told us to stop here. This was, just one of the highlights.
Yeah. On the move again today, and part of the reason we're leaving today, not only so we could stay an extra day after the whole heater debacle and then have time to go hiking, which was just the best day ever. But we're supposed to be having north winds here, which are usually not the norm as we travel kind of south, what would that be? Southeast? So we thought we're gonna have a fantastic sail, and I know we're just out of the harbor right now, but there's no wind. So the engine's still on. But at least it's not raining. There's some blue sky, and all of these forests just look so beautiful. Now we'll be able to get a close-up of the castle that we walked by the other day or didn't get to walk to. So hopefully those winds fill in, and we will be anchoring south of the town of Oban today just because we'll be getting in so late. But
I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, we're not going to go into a marina to like pay 30 pounds to not get off the boat for a night when we can anchor and then go in tomorrow morning so that we can do grocery shopping and whatnot. But hopefully those ones will fill in once we get around the corner here.
Making our way through the Sound of Mull, this is also the day our path through Scotland would intersect with where we had entered in late spring. Instead of new sights, we'd now be crossing back into familiar territory. But because of the changing of the seasons, the vivid greens we once remembered had now decayed into golden reds and browns. It was a resemblance of a landscape we had once been acquainted with, only to meet again in the later years of its life. Passing through these old cruising grounds again also meant we were at a point with multiple converging waterways. The Sound of Mull, where we are now, crosses with Loch Linnhe, where we had veered off to, and also the Firth of Lorne, where we initially entered Scotland. The mix of these bodies can create places of rough water with eddies and overfalls, which we had already seen a bit of the chop that can form during our first ride through. Today, we were timing our arrival as close to slack tide as we could to smoothly pass through without any whirlpool effects.
Into the same area one season later, watching the fall color change now. And it's just, we're having a perfect like back 3/4 sail. The sun is out, and we have about 6 miles left until our destination. So, yep, we found those winds. We got through the pass safely. Got there 30 minutes earlier than we intended before slack tide, but luckily, other than a little bit of like misguidance by the currents kind of pushing us around, it was really no big deal at all. So now our biggest worry is all the ferries that cross through here, because they don't have any bridges really, so it's just constantly ferries jumping from one island, one port to the next. So that's the biggest thing now, because there's like 4 within visual range. So we're going to enjoy the rest of the sail and hope that we don't get run over on the way. Wow, we have just ended up in the coolest anchorage ever. There is literally a castle right next to us, which Matt had found on the charts before we got here, so we knew it was going to be here, but it doesn't make it any less stunning once you get to see it in person. And the way that the sun is going down right now, just everything is lit up in these like fiery hues. And the kind of cool thing about this spot as well is because the winds normally come out of the south here, and we are on the south side of the island, so it's very rare that this harbor is tenable for boats to sit, and so I don't think it's often that many boats get to drop the hook here. But while the winds are coming out of the north today, we get to do it for a night. I think the winds are going to die out overnight and then fill in from the south tomorrow, so we can't stay here for more than the one night anyway, but not a bad place to call home for the night.
Because of its popularity during the summer season, the Oban Marina has a maximum stay of 3 nights at the docks. Even though our passing through in late October was a far cry from the high season, the rules still applied. So, just after we tied off, it was time to hit the city and get all of our errands done.
While here in Oban, we're also doing lots of necessary errand running. Right now we're at like a home goods store picking up a new carbon monoxide detector, which I think a lot of you will be happy about. We have one. It was a little older, probably ready to be replaced. And we also have to make sure to hit multiple shops. Like the Tesco is the only one that carries the food that Georgie will eat right now. It's kind of brand of Purina. And then of course like Aldi and Lidl have the cheaper foods. So just doing a bunch of that while we're here too, because who knows when we could make our next move. We always have one planned, but the weather seems to change day to day.
Another project that had been on our to-do list for quite a while was changing our propane fitting and cylinder over to a version that works in the UK, since we still have a long winter ahead of us in this area. We'll go over the process in more detail in a future video, but this does allow us to keep 2 cylinders, one American and one UK, and swap back and forth as needed. It turned out that our errands kept us busier than we anticipated, and the only parts of Oban we were able to see were between the boat and the shops. Georgie, someone's trying to make their home here. No. What are you gonna do about it? It's trying to make its home on our dinghy. You need to go kick it out.
Did it make you angry? Or do you just want to be friends? I'm sure you just want to be friends.
Since we had used our full allowance of time in the marina, we moved ourselves to a secluded and protected anchorage just a few miles south as we waited for yet another depression to pass over us. If we were lucky and the forecast held out, 3 days later, we'd have the opportunity to move south into the Irish Sea.
Georgie's like, no, save me from what's coming. Because you know, don't you? You know it's about to happen. Not a happy cat. It is a sad day for us, as this is our last day in Scotland, and now that I think of it, it could be our last day at anchor for quite some time, because as we travel down the Irish Sea, we had the problem going north, at least on the Irish coast, that decent anchorages that give you good protection from all the strong winds that go up the North Sea, very few and far between. But we are starting to make our way down to Plymouth on the south coast of England. We have a berth booked for us in Sutton Harbour Marina to spend the winter. And now that we are going into November, the weather windows to get south are going to be very slim, so we have to take everyone we can. But before we get all the way down there, there is one stop that we really wanted to make, and that is Belfast in Northern Ireland. So we are upping anchor in just a few minutes here, and we're going to head down the Sound of Mull off the coast of Scotland and down through the North Channel overnight, and should be arriving to Belfast tomorrow. We actually just had the time change last night, so the sun is going to be setting on us at like 4:55 p.m. That's kind of scary. But we should be through all like the narrow channels by the time the sun sets. We're timing ourselves to get through the tricky areas at slack tide, so wish us luck on our passage south. How many layers would you say that you have on right now?
Right now I have only 3, but it's because I'm moving around and getting the dinghy ready and gonna be raising anchor and doing physical things. As soon as I'm ready to sit down and actually navigate, then we're looking at probably 6 layers, I think.
Yeah. It is going to be a chilly night tonight, and we are not going to have sun for a good portion of it because it's going down in like 90 minutes. Goodbye, beautiful Scotland. We will miss you. Good news is winds should be right behind us to be able to sail the whole thing.
Yeah, it looks like the weather is going to be roughly 15 to 20 knots winds. Going to be on our starboard side blowing, and it should then circle around a little bit towards the stern when we're coming down past the Mull fire. What we'll end up doing is we're going to go, this time we're going to go through the Sound of Mull. We're going to end up trying to do around 4.5 knots. So we'll have the tide against us, then, or with us, and then against us for part of it. We're going to try to take 11 hours to do that section. It's actually only 45 miles roughly. So we've got to go slow, which means it's going to be probably just stay soul out and try to keep maybe even jiving ourselves and tacking ourselves back and forth. Woo! This one.
Those things pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that is the negative with going into the sun right now. Can't really see them real well. We should be doing a better job paying attention to that instead of talking on a GoPro. So yeah, we got to slow ourselves down at the beginning, and then once we turn basically the Mull of Kintyre right before that, the tide is going to end up coming behind us and with us. And right now it's spring, so we should be about 4.5 knots of current pushing us along towards Belfast. Hopefully making a nice, comfortable, fast run, we hope. If we timed everything properly, we should be okay there. We'll see.
Rain's out of here, sure come and go pretty fast. We were enjoying a lovely setting sun on our way out, and now rain, which is a little unfortunate because this is the last time we're going to see the mountains in quite some time. So now they're all covered in clouds and rain. That's okay. We'll see them again sometime.
Yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. Give me your freedom. Whoa, yeah, to pieces. Yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. Life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces. Yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium.